from Seoul. For a weeknight dinner, I think no one can deny that chicken rice is the best. And today, you'll meet the best of the best.
Today, we're gonna be making gochujang glazed chicken. I've shown you various types of chicken rice, but I have to say, this one stands out from all of them because it is so simple yet incredibly delicious. So I really hope you give this a try. Once you taste this spicy savory chicken, trust me, you'll feel like you're in heaven. For this, you will need some chicken, garlic, ginger, green onions, and some rice. So simple, right? But I'm pretty sure what you wanna have is a more balanced meal with some vegetables. So let's bring some asparagus and make a delicious stir fry that pairs perfectly with our chicken. You're gonna love it so much. Alright, let's start prepping our vegetables. First, smash and finely chop 8 cloves of garlic. 5 garlic cloves will be used for our gochujang sauce. And 3 garlic cloves will be used for our asparagus stir fry. So please keep them separately, like this. Next, grate a small knob of ginger, about 2 teaspoons would be enough. Once that's done, thinly slice 2 stalks of green onions. As always, we're gonna use the white parts to infuse our oil and the green parts for our garnish. Lastly, take a big handful of asparagus, trim off the ends, and cut them into nice bite-sized pieces. What? You want them to be prettier, like the ones from restaurants? Then get yourself some mild red chili and thinly slice it. These will not only add a nice little pop of color, but they will also add a great kick to your stir fry. Alright, the veg prep is done. Let's move on to the sauce. In a small container, add 2 tablespoons of gochujang, Korean chili paste, 2 tablespoons of Korean chili pepper flakes, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, half a tablespoon of chicken bouillon powder, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of honey, 2 tablespoons of mirin, some black pepper, half a cup of water, half a tablespoon of cornstarch, and give it a good mix. Here, if you want to make it less spicy, feel free to reduce the chili pepper flakes. No problem at all. By the way, we have all the instructions and a list of ingredients on our blog, aaronclaire.com, so please visit here if you need a written recipe. Alright, before we start cooking, let's prepare the star ingredient, chicken. Take 600 grams of boneless skin on chicken thighs and pat them dry. This will get rid of some of the moisture from the outside, so you're gonna get a more beautiful crispy crust at the end. Once that's done, season both sides with salt and pepper. Now, we're gonna put some potato starch into our tray and grab a piece, coat it with some potato starch, and shake off the excess. Here, some of you might ask, Aaron, I can't get that potato starch. What should I do? Don't worry about it. Just use cornstarch. The texture can be a little different, but it's not gonna make much of a difference, so just use what you have. Everything will be fantastic. What? Coating the chicken sounds like a hassle, so you just wanna pan fry them? Sure, you can totally do that too. But the potato starch will not only crisp up the skin, but it's also gonna help the chicken absorb more of the sauce. So if you wanna fully enjoy our beautiful gochujang sauce, you should definitely give this a try. Trust me, you won't regret it. Alright, it's cooking time. Let's cook our asparagus first. Get yourself a wok or pan, add 1 tablespoon of oil and heat it over medium-high heat. Once it's heated, add finely chopped 3 cloves of garlic and saute for about 30 seconds or until fragrant. And then add your asparagus and stir fry them for about 2 to 3 minutes. Once they are cooked a little bit, increase the heat to high, add half a tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, red chili pepper, and stir fry them all together for about a minute or 2. This method works with any kind of vegetables, so besides asparagus, feel free to experiment with your favorite vegetables. Don't worry about it, everything will be fantastic. Seriously, everything. Alright, looks like it's done. Let's put them on a plate and move on to our chicken. Get yourself another pan, add 1 or 2 tablespoons of oil and heat it over medium-high heat. Once it gets nice and hot, working in 2 batches, place your chicken pieces skin side down. And we're gonna sear them for about 4 minutes. Once you've got some good color on one side, flip and cook the other side for about 4 more minutes. When the chicken is cooked through, remove them from the pan and repeat with the remaining chicken pieces. Now into this beautiful fat from your chicken, stir in your garlic, ginger, white parts of the green onions, and stir them around for about 30 seconds. This is very important because all the good flavors from our aromatics will take it to the next level. Trust me, once you try this technique, you will totally understand what I'm talking about. What? You wanna know this kind of tip more and more? I'm so glad you brought that up, because everything you need is in this one book. Trust me, with this one book, you can cook more than 100 Korean dishes like a pro, so don't forget to check it out. The link is in the description. Once your kitchen is filled with the aroma, pour in our sauce and bring it to a boil. When the sauce gets thickened, reduce the heat to low, add all the chicken back into the pan, and continue flipping your chicken pieces for about a minute or 2. That's it! Couldn't be any easier, right? There's no reason not to try it. Alright, our chicken is beautifully coated. Let's take them out and place them on a wire rack. Since there's some starch in the sauce, it's gonna be extremely hot. So let's give them some time to cool down a little bit. I told you, if you don't take my advice and burn yourself, I'm totally not responsible. Finally, it's time to assemble. Let's put some rice on a serving plate and place our beautifully cooked chicken over the rice. And then let's put some asparagus, toasted sesame seeds, and green onions. That's it. But if you wanna make it even prettier, then finish it off with this lovely soft boiled egg. How does it look? It looks absolutely gorgeous, right? You wanna know how it tastes? Alright, let's call our taste tester.
Claire?
오, 확실히 고추장을 써서 그런가 되게 빨갛게 예쁘게 잘 나왔네. I'm super hungry, so I have no energy to talk. Let's give it a try. 와, 위에 윤기 나는 거 너무 예쁘다. 이거 꼭 봐야 돼. 짜잔! Looks nice and shiny. 촉촉해 보인단 말이야. Cheers! 우선 속이 너무 촉촉하니 맛있는데 겉은 또 이렇게 전분 때문인지 바삭하게 잘 조리가 돼가지고 너무 맛있다. 그리고 소스가 너무 맛있는 게 고추장이랑 간장에서 오는 짭짤하면서도 그 매콤한 그 맛이 너무 맛있고 풍미 한가득에 킥은 바로 마늘. 위에 마늘이 약간 좀 큼직큼직하게 붙어 있었거든? 그 녀석들이 씹을 때마다 마늘의 알싸함이 촥촥 터트려주는 게 그게 맛을 한층 더 끌어주네. 소스가 약간 코리안 프라이드 치킨 같거든? 근데 거기서 단맛이 좀 더 많이 빼고 짭조름한 맛으로 바뀌어가지고 훨씬 밥이랑 잘 어울릴 것 같아. 치즈! 너무 맛있다. 잘 어울린다. 어떻게 이렇게 소스에 푹 담궜는데도 여전히 이렇게 바삭거리지? 너무 맛있다. This time, I'm gonna try the asparagus. I couldn't resist the smell. 나는 좀 약간 통통한 아스파라거스를 예상했었었는데 너무 애기 아스파라거스다. 어찌됐든 맛만 맛있으면 되니까. Cheers! 와, 맛있다. 그 간장의 향이 이 아스파라거스랑 너무 잘 어울리네. 간장이 너무 세지도 않아가지고 그 아스파라거스 자체의 향도 싹 느껴지면서 간도 딱 완벽하게 잘 된 게 이거 말고 어떤 음식에 가니쉬로 써도 다 괜찮을 것 같아. 너무 괜찮네. 이렇게 또 번거로운데 소프트 보일드 에그까지 만들어주셔서 감사합니다.
You wanna make bibimbap, but you kind of get scared because it seems too complicated? Or you think it needs some kind of secret magic cooking technique? No, you could not be more wrong. Today, let me break down your stereotype.
Today, we're gonna be making bibimbap, one of the most iconic Korean rice bowls. But this bibimbap is not gonna be complicated. Instead of cooking each vegetable separately, we're gonna use fresh vegetables like salad. So when you just don't feel like standing over a hot stove, this bad boy will come to your mind. Also, besides the regular gochujang sauce, I'm gonna be showing you 2 more sauces that you can add to your bibimbap, so you can get excited. For this, you will need some onion, lettuce, cabbage, perilla leaves, carrot, cucumber, hot rice, and chicken. Today, I'm gonna stick with the traditional veggies for this dish, but depending on your preference, you can really put anything you want. So instead of going to a supermarket to get all of these, just use what you have on hand. Everything will be fantastic. Alright, let's make the sauce first. Usually, for home-style bibimbap, you can just use some gochujang straight from the container, but since it's a little thick as a sauce, I'm gonna add a little bit of water here. See? Looks nice and shiny, right? But you want more than that, right? So let's work on another sauce called chogochujang. Trust me, this sweet, spicy, and sour gochujang sauce works really well with fatty chicken and fresh vegetables. Alright, in a small bowl, add 4 tablespoons of Korean chili paste, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, half a tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds, 2 tablespoons of Sprite, and mix it well. What? You don't want to put Sprite in your diet? Then bring this bad boy instead. What are you worried about? What? You have a family member who can't handle spicy food, so you kind of hesitate to make this dish? Don't worry about it. We have another option. Soy sauce-based bibimbap sauce. In another bowl, combine 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, half a tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of mirin, which is completely optional, 1 tablespoon of thinly sliced green onion, some finely chopped mild chili, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, half a tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds, and give it a good mix. But when you add the sesame seeds, crush them a little bit, like this. Trust me, this little detail will give you a more intense flavor. What? You wanna know this kind of tip more and more? I'm so glad you brought that up, because everything you need is in this one book. Trust me, with this one book, you can cook more than 100 Korean dishes like a pro, so don't forget to check it out. The link is in the description. Now take 300 grams of boneless skin on chicken thighs and cut them into nice bite-sized pieces. If you're trying to lose weight, chicken breast is also a good option, but chicken thighs are more flavorful and they taste amazing with our gochujang sauce, so I highly recommend using chicken thighs in this recipe. What? You have no chicken but pork belly in your fridge? Then go ahead and use it. Maybe that could be more delicious. This time, let's make the sauce for our chicken. In a small container, add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of mirin, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, half a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, a few shakes of black pepper, and give it a good mix. For information, we're just gonna pan fry our chicken, but if you marinate your chicken in this sauce and cook it with an outdoor grill, that'll be absolutely amazing. So if you have enough time, please give it a shot. Something magical will happen to you. Alright, let's prep the vegetables. Like I said earlier, if I was not filming today and just making this dish for myself, I would just grab some lettuce, tear it up, and put it over the rice. That's it. But you guys are watching me and my hungry bird at home wants more than that. I need to move my ass. So let me just slice various veggies beautifully. This lettuce? Don't worry about it. I'll eat them later. Alright, thinly slice a quarter of an onion. Since we're gonna eat it raw, try to slice it as thinly as possible. And then, to reduce the strong onion flavor, let's soak it in some cold water for about 5 minutes. Don't worry about it, it's just gonna have a pleasant sweetness and refreshing taste to it. So even if you are a founder of I Hate Raw Onion Club, you will absolutely love it. This time, fold 2 lettuce leaves and cut them into thin strips. Besides this bad boy, any type of leafy greens works great in this recipe, so use your favorite. Everything will be fantastic. And then the same thing goes for the cabbage. I'm gonna use about 2 cabbage leaves. Once that's done, take 4 perilla leaves, fold them twice, and slice them up. Here, some of you might say, Aaron, I can't get those perilla leaves. What should I do? That's okay, it's not a key ingredient. You can just leave it out. But if you have a chance to go to a Korean grocery store, make the day Bibimbap Day and try this bad boy. Trust me, your bibimbap will become so much more fragrant. Not only for the flavor, this bad boy has incredible nutritional value. People always say kales are the best, but in Korea, we have these perilla leaves. So if you can get this bad boy, I really hope you give this a try. This time, let's julienne some carrot. They don't need to be paper thin, but try and do your best to cut this as thin as possible. Because if they are too thick, there might be some kind of imbalance in texture. Lastly, just like the carrot, let's cut some cucumber into thin matchsticks. I'm gonna use about half of this. That's it, so simple, right? Now all we have left is to cook our chicken and some fried eggs. Take out a wok or pan, add half a tablespoon of oil and heat it over medium-high heat. Once it gets nice and hot, add in your chicken in a single layer and let it sear for about 2 to 3 minutes. Once the chicken is nicely browned on the bottom, flip and cook the other side for another 2 minutes or until cooked through. Now let's pour in your sauce and toss them together for about a minute or until they're nicely coated. That's it! Alright, let's remove them from the wok and set them aside. Get yourself another pan and cook 2 fried eggs. I'm gonna cook this sunny side up because that soft and runny egg yolk will work like a beautiful sauce for our bibimbap. But if you don't like it, you can cook to your desired doneness. No problem at all. Alright, everything is all set. Let's put them all together. Put about 1 cup of hot rice into a bowl and drizzle with 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame oil. Once that's done, put some onions, lettuce, cabbage, perilla leaves, carrots, cucumbers, and chicken. Last but not least, let's finish it up with our beautiful fried egg and toasted sesame seeds. That's it, nothing complicated, right? And depending on your preference, serve with your preferred bibimbap sauce. How does it look? It looks absolutely gorgeous, right? Alright, let's go to our taste tester.
Claire.
우와, 진짜 먹음직스러워 보인다. 소스까지 2개나 준비했다고? 감동인데. Oh my gosh, it looks super delicious. Let's give it a try. 내가 어디선가 들었는데 먹는 식단의 색깔이 다양하면 다양할수록 건강한 식단이래. 그런 의미에서 이 비빔밥은 딱 제격이다. It's gonna be so healthy and delicious. Let's mix it. Look at this vibrant red color. Looks so beautiful. 와, 일단 기본 1테이블스푼부터 시작하겠다. 제가 많으니까 나는 2테이블을 넣겠어. And then just break it. Just mix it. 계란 이쁜 거 봐. 아직 먹어보지도 않았는데 섞는데 뭔가 되게 행복해. 섞는 동안 뭔가 내가 이 음식을 망치는 건 아닌가 그렇게 걱정은 안 해도 돼. You gotta mix it thoroughly. 우후, 된 것 같아. 아까 그 예쁘게 치킨 위에 있던 소스가 다 섞이는 바람에 좀 사라진 게 좀 아쉽네. 밥에 맛있게 잘 녹아있기를. Cheers! 확실히 그냥 고추장으로 비볐었을 때보다 약간 새콤한 맛이 추가가 돼가지고 훨씬 더 맛을 잘 끌어주는 것 같아. 생야채들이랑 더 잘 어울리는 것 같아. 약간 그 샐러드 먹는 것 같은 그런 느낌? 그런 느낌도 살짝 있어. 너무 괜찮다. 확실히 이제 날씨가 좀 더 더워지기 시작하면 이런 스타일의 비빔밥이 좀 더 땡기긴 하는 것 같아. 없던 입맛도 되돌아온다. 이거 먹으면. This time, let's try with soy sauce based bibimbap sauce. How? I'm gonna steal Aaron's bowl. 이따 같이 나눠 먹자. 삐지지 말고. 아까 이 양념이 사라진 것 같아서 속상했잖아. 치킨만 한번 그냥 먹어보자. 뭔가 글로시하면서 되게 맛있어 보였단 말이야. 오, 그래 냄새. 이거지. 비빔밥 안 하고 이것만 먹어도 맛있겠다. 약간 돼지갈비 그런 느낌 나. 맛있어. 어쩌면 이게 간장 베이스 소스니까 또 더 잘 어울릴 수도 있겠다라는 생각이 또 들어. 이거는 확실히 먹으면서 내 입맛에 최적화하게 소스를 더 추가할 수 있어서 좋은 것 같아. So you don't have to add a lot of them at first. You can just but just a little bit more as you eat. I think it's ready. 옆에 안 흘리게 잘 이쁘게 모아놓은 다음에 치킨을 샥 올려주면 되지요. 이번에도 또 사라졌어. 소스가 맛이 녹아있기를. Cheers! You really can't go wrong with any type of sauces. Both of them are great. 밥에 싹 간도 딱 배고 간장에서 나오는 그런 풍미 깊은 맛도 나고 거기다가 매운 거 좀 무서운 사람한테는 아주 제격이지. 그렇다고 저 초고추장이 엄청 매운 건 아니라서 누구든지 그냥 다 먹을 수 있을 것 같아. 아니면 우리처럼 딱 두 그릇 만들어 놓은 다음에 쉐어해서 같이 먹으면 그게 뭐 제일 완벽할 것 같기도 하다. 아쉬움 없이 두 개나 먹을 수 있잖아. 자기가 분명히 just use what you have in your fridge 라고 말했었을 것 같긴 한데 근데 내 생각엔 말이야 여기에 두 가지 야채 정도는 피해야 될 것 같아. 내가 싫어하는 샐러리나 아니면 고수. So, don't even think about adding them here. I think they're not gonna work. Or at least for me, they're not gonna work.
Let me guess, this year you decided to start cooking more at home, but after work or school, you're exhausted and you don't want to spend lots of time in the kitchen, especially on a busy weeknight, right? But from now, don't worry about it and just follow my lead. If you do, you will have one of the best Korean barbecues in under 15 minutes. Alright, are you guys ready? Let's get started.
Today, we're gonna be making Galbi, one of the best Korean barbecues. What? You can't believe that we can make it in under 15 minutes? Don't worry about it, we can do it. But I didn't count the marinating time, but I'm not gonna say sorry, because if you make a big batch and store it in the fridge or freezer, whenever you're craving some delicious Galbi, you can just pull it out of the fridge and bam! Your dinner is ready. Pretty good deal, right? For this, you will need some pork, onion, green onion, apple, and Korean pear. That's it. What? There's no Asian supermarket near your place, so you can't get this Korean pear? Don't worry about it. You can just replace it with an apple. So just use what you have. That's the best. Alright, let's start with the marinade. Get yourself one medium-sized onion, 100 grams of green onions, half a pear, one apple, and just roughly chop them. Here, you don't have to chop it nicely, like serving it to your girlfriend's parents or your boss, because we're gonna throw everything in a blender. But before you do that, don't forget to take out the core, because you can't make them look stupid with these little seeds stuck in their teeth. Trust me, it happens sometimes, but don't get me wrong, it's not my story. Now add 1.5 cups of water and just blend it up until nice and smooth. These fruits and vegetables will add a nice sweetness to your marinade, and they're also gonna help tenderize our meat. What? You wanna know this kind of tip more and more? I'm so glad you brought that up, because everything you need is in this one book. Trust me, with this one book, you can cook more than 100 Korean dishes like a pro, so don't forget to check it out. The link is in the description.
Once everything is nice and smooth, put it in a mixing bowl. And then to that, add 1 cup of soy sauce, half a cup of mirin, 2.5 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 3 tablespoons of corn syrup, 3 tablespoons of toasted sesame oil, 3 tablespoons of minced garlic, half a tablespoon of grated ginger, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1.5 tablespoons of dark soy sauce, half a cup of dark brown sugar, and give that a good mix until the sugar is dissolved. Here, the dark brown sugar is not only gonna give us a beautiful color, but it's also gonna add a unique flavor to the marinade. But as always, just because of this, you don't have to go grocery shopping. If you don't have it, you can just use white sugar. No problem at all. And then, if you're looking for that restaurant taste, add 1 teaspoon of MSG. What? You think I can't make it taste good without this bad boy? Who do you think I am? I'm just trying to catch the slight taste difference with it. That's why I always use a teeny tiny amount of MSG in my recipes. What? You don't buy it?
Alright, challenge accepted. Let me prove it without using it. Now let's talk about the pork. Galbi means ribs in Korean, but a lot of restaurants use a mix of ribs and bibimbap because ribs are very expensive in Korea and hard to work with. So let's just go for bibimbap today. Don't worry about it, still gonna be fantastic. Alright, let's cut it into slices, about a ½ inch in thickness, and then score them on both sides. Here, you don't have to make deep cuts, just a little scratch on the surface will be enough. What? You don't have enough time? Or it sounds like a hassle? Don't worry about it, you can skip it. But if you want to show off to your girlfriend or boyfriend, this is unnecessary. The result will be totally different. Alright, let's marinate our pork. Add the pork pieces one by one and gently move it around so that it can coat our pork beautifully. And once that's done, give them some privacy in the fridge for 12 hours. But that's for the people who sell this. I think 4 hours would be enough. Don't get me wrong, it's not because my hungry bird at home is threatening me. Alright, it's been 4 hours. Let's get cooking. In a pan, add a splash of oil and wipe off the excess. Turn the heat to medium-high, and once it gets nice and hot, add 2 or 3 pieces of your galbi and cook for about 5 to 6 minutes. This kind of marinated meat is really easy to burn, so when you pan fry this kind of meat, you need to constantly flip them. So try to flip them about every 30 seconds. That's the key. But if it's still about to burn, you can add a little bit more marinade or pour in some water. No problem at all. And while that's going, using your tongs and scissors, cut them into nice bite-sized pieces. For Korean style galbi, you don't need a knife or fork. This will give you that authentic vibe. If you do this in front of your family or friends, trust me, they'll be like, oh, he knows some Korean stuff. He looks so cool. Yeah, this is how to show off. For information, it tastes even better if you cook it on a grill. So if you have an outdoor grill, give that a try. It's amazingly delicious, so you'll be surprised. Alright, once it's cooked through, remove from the pan and set it aside. Now you can just enjoy it with some lettuce and 쌈장, but let me show you a great way to plate this up. Get yourself a cast iron pan and heat it over medium heat. And then add a little bit of oil, a good amount of sliced onions, and wait until you get a beautiful sizzle. Once the onions soften up a little bit, place your beautifully cooked galbi and finish it off with some toasted sesame seeds and green onions. How does it look? It looks absolutely amazing, right? Alright, let's go to our taste tester.
Claire?
Wow, smells insane. I feel like I'm in heaven. I'm super hungry. Let's give it a try. 특유의 그 갈비 냄새가 있네. 한번 먹어볼게. Ready? 우와. 와우. 맛있는데 잠깐 기다려봐. 양파랑도 먹어보자. 맛있어. 플레이팅은 왜 이런 식으로 했는지 이해가 되네. 양파랑 일단 갈비의 그 조합이 너무 맛있다. 고기는 부드럽고 양파에서 그 아삭함이 추가가 되는 게 너무 맛있어. But I know the secret of this plating. It's one of our favorite 돼지갈비 restaurants in Busan, right? 왜 돼지갈비 같은 경우는 밖에서 외식하면서 꼭 숯불에 구워야만 할 것 같은 그런 선입견이 있잖아. 근데 집에서 먹어도 충분히 그 맛을 잘 재현할 수 있네. 맛있다. 왜 우리가 딱 좋아하는 그 양념의 조합이잖아. 짭조름하면서 그 살짝 달콤한 그거. 모든 사람이 좋아할 수밖에 없는 그 맛이야. 너무 맛있다. 고기만 먹는데 손이 자꾸 왼손이 나도 모르게 자꾸 이렇게 쌈 쪽으로 가려 그래서 삶느라고 힘들었어. Can I make some 쌈? Let's make a lettuce wrap. 하나 가지고는 안 될 것 같아. 2개 정도는 넣어줘야. 갈비에 양념이 묻은 양파. The last one, the most important one, 쌈장. It's gonna balance out everything. Cheers! 역시 코리안 바베큐에는 이 상추쌈이 빠져서는 안 되는 것 같아. 상추쌈 먹기 전에도 맛있었는데 지금 딱 비교를 하잖아? It makes it perfect. 그리고 아까 말했던 것처럼 쌈장은 진짜 그 짭조름한 그 녀석이 확 킥 역할을 제대로 하는 것 같아. It boosts up all the flavors in there. So good. Another bite. Ready? 틈을 잡을 데가 없는데? 맛있는데? But I need some rice. 대량이다!
Since Claire says galbi should be with some rice, I brought this galbi rice bowl. For this, you will need some marinated galbi, a bowl of hot rice, green onion, soft boiled egg, and cucumber. Of course, you could just cook galbi and place it over the rice. But with these bad boys, it'll become more beautiful and nutritious. First, let's chop some green onions. How much? Just as much as you want. Told you, more green onion, more delicious. Next, take a cucumber and cut off the ends, and then just thinly slice it. This will add a nice freshness to your rice bowl. What? You're okay with raw cucumber but wanna add some Korean flavors today? Alright then, let's make a very simple dressing. In a small container, add 1 tablespoon of Korean chili pepper flakes, 1.5 tablespoons of vinegar, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, half a tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds, half a tablespoon of minced garlic, half a teaspoon of salt, and mix together until it's well combined. And then pour it over the cucumber and give it a little toss. Once everything is well coated, give it a quick taste and add more salt if it's needed. So simple, right? Alright, time for our galbi. Just like before, add a little bit of oil and wipe off the excess. Turn the heat to medium-high, and once it's heated, add 3 pieces of your marinated pork and cook for about 3 minutes. Once they're cooked on the outside, cut it into big bite-sized pieces with your tongs and scissors. And then add some marinade, which is about 1/3 of a cup, and let it simmer for another 3 minutes. Since they are cooked like a braising, it will make your pork more moist and tender, so it will go so well with the rice. Finally, it's time to assemble. Let's get some rice into a bowl, and add a generous amount of galbi, and then top it up with some cucumber salad, green onion, and a soft boiled egg. Last but not least, sprinkle on some toasted sesame seeds. That's it! It's ridiculously simple, but looks super delicious, right? Alright, let's see how it tastes.
Claire,
이런 식으로 플레이팅 하니까 또 색다른 느낌이 나는데? I never thought of plating this way. Anyways, it looks super delicious. Let's give it a try. 내가 좋아하는 오이 무침에 갈비에 반숙까지 있네. 아까 짠뜩 먹었는데 또 먹고 싶네. Let's try the cucumber first. 여기서부터 이미 오이의 그 상큼한 냄새가 코를 막 자극하네. Ready? 매콤, 새콤, 달콤 완벽하게 그 조합이 예술이야. 맛있어. 이번엔 라이스볼답게 밥 위에다가 갈비를 같이 먹어보겠습니다. It's glistening. Cheers. 역시 돼지갈비는 밥이랑 먹어야 그 맛이 샥 살아. 아까 같은 플레이팅으로 하면은 사람들 초대해서 근사하게 대접하기 딱 좋은 그런 플레이팅인 것 같고, 요런 거는 그냥 나 혼자 소소하게 먹기 너무 좋고, 재워놓은 거 빠르게 조리해가지고 도시락통에 샥 넣어가지고 점심 식사로 가져가도 너무 괜찮을 것 같아. So good. It's gonna be great for your lunch or dinner. 아 진짜 맛있네. 파라 더했어. And a little bit of green onion. 심지어 쌈처럼 오이 무침까지. Ready? Challenge failed. 맛있다.
needless to say, the combination of chicken and rice is amazing. But if you're sick and tired of eating the same chicken and rice over and over, you really need this one. This is a very traditional Korean dish, but in my opinion, one of the greatest chicken dishes of all time.
Today, we're gonna make Korean chicken rice with this doenjang, Korean soybean paste. But you know what? Even though it's a super delicious and traditional dish, for some reason, there are actually quite a lot of Korean people who don't even know this dish. Yes, this is the perfect time to show off your knowledge of Korean cuisine to your Korean friends. You're welcome. For this, you will need chicken. That's it. Seriously, I'm not kidding. That's all you need. But if you serve it with some rice and some kimchi, trust me, you're gonna have one of the most delicious and satisfying meals that you ever had. What? No kimchi in your fridge? Don't worry about it. We can make something similar with our love, green onion. Maybe that could be a better option for this dish. Alright, let's prep the chicken first. Here, I've got 600 grams of boneless skin on chicken thighs. You could also use chicken breast in this recipe, but you get a lot more flavor from the chicken thigh, so I strongly recommend using a chicken thigh with skin on. Before we marinate the chicken, of course we could cut it into bite-sized pieces, but since I want to keep its beautiful moisture and juiciness, I'm just gonna trim off any excess fat. Now let's make the marinade. In a small container, add 3 tablespoons of Korean soybean paste, half a tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 3 tablespoons of mirin, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of honey or corn syrup, 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, a few shakes of black pepper, and give it a good stir. That's it! So simple, right? Once it's well mixed, pour it over the chicken and give it a good massage. Now we're just gonna cover and put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. But if you don't mind spending a little bit more time, then let it sit in the fridge overnight. It will pay you back with amazing flavor. This time, let's make pamuchim, Korean green onion salad. Take a big handful of green onions and cut them into strips, about 2 inches long. And if the white parts of the green onions are too thick, you can cut them in half or quarter, like this. What? You think it's hard to get green onions? That's okay. You can substitute with garlic chives or cucumber, and they'll be fantastic too. So just use what you have. That's the best. And if you want to make it fancier like the one you get at a restaurant, then julienne some mild red chili. The combination of red and green will look more beautiful and more appetizing. But if you don't like anything spicy, black pepper could be a good option too. Now let's make the dressing. In a small container, add 1 tablespoon of Korean chili pepper flakes, 1.5 tablespoons of vinegar, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, half a tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds, half a tablespoon of minced garlic, 1 teaspoon of fish sauce, and give it a good mix. Once that's done, pour it over the green onions and gently toast them together like handling a baby. That's it! When you run out of kimchi, try this instead. It'll be super satisfying. Alright, we're set. Let's get cooking. To a large pan, add half a tablespoon of oil and use paper towels to coat the bottom of the pan and heat it over medium heat. Once it gets nice and hot, place the chicken skin side down and cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. Once the chicken is nicely browned on the bottom, flip and cook the other side. Because of the marinade, it can burn quite easily, so make sure you keep an eye on this and move the pieces around if it's needed. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with some charcoal or something. And for information, it tastes even better if it's grilled over charcoal, just like the traditional way. So if you have an awesome outdoor grill, please give that a try. It'll be so tasty, that's gonna stay in your mind forever. When the chicken is cooked through, take them out and slice them up like bite-sized pieces. How does it look? It just looks so juicy and packed full of flavor, right? I just want to skip Claire's taste test and eat it all myself, but that's kind of a highway to hell. So let's go ahead and plate this up. First, let's put some rice on a serving plate. Of course, we could just dump the rice onto the plate, but if we use a bowl, it looks a lot prettier, right? Remember, what looks good, tastes good. And then add a generous amount of chicken and our beautiful green onion salad. What? You feel like something is missing? Then sprinkle with some toasted sesame seeds. But if you still feel like it needs to be decorated, garnish it with some black sesame seeds and cucumber. Alright, it's really done. Let's go to our taste tester.
Claire?
와, 아주 잔뜩 푸짐하니 맛있어 보이는구만. 잘 먹겠습니다. 언뜻 봤었을 땐 데리야끼 치킨으로 보이는데 이 파무침이 아니야 라고 나한테 말해주는 것 같아. Alright, it looks super delicious. Let's give it a try. 와, 한눈에 봤었을 때 치킨의 육즙 한가득이다. 얘네들이 수분을 한가득 머금고 있어. 빨리 먹어봐야지. I want this one because it has nice char on it. Woohoo! Cheers! 오, 냄새 기가 막히네. 일단 닭이 엄청 촉촉하고 겉에 있는 껍질은 자기도 알다시피 내가 닭껍질을 별로 안 좋아하지만 그럼에도 불구하고 약간 바삭하면서도 쫀득거리는 게 그 맛이 예술이야. 그리고 말해 뭐해, 된장으로 이걸 메리네이드 했잖아. 그래서 그런지 진짜 좀 짭조름하면서 그 입맛에 쫙쫙 끌어주는 그 맛이 제대로 치킨에 잘 배었어. 너무 맛있어. 하나만 더 먹고 얘기해보자. More bites. 껍질에서 나오는 그 지방이 닭을 막 코팅을 해줘서 그게 막 감칠맛을 샥샥 끌어주는 것 같아. 이거 닭가슴살로 하면 이 맛 그대로 재현하긴 힘들 것 같아. 무조건 껍질 있는 닭다리살로 하는 게 맛을 제대로 끌어올릴 수 있는 방법인 것 같아. 너무 맛있어. This time, let's try with our love green onions. 평상시 땐 이렇게까지는 안 하지만 오늘은 알록달록 빨간 고추까지 예쁘게 만들었네. 맛있어. 새콤하니 너무 맛있는데다가 파의 그 향긋한 향이 닭고기의 맛을 제대로 끌어준다. So good. Get a little bit of rice and some chicken and then green onion. Looks so lovely, right? Cheers! 따뜻한 밥이랑 먹으니까 더 완벽해졌어. 너무 맛있다. You can't go wrong with this. So good. Really. 맛있네!